I never thought as I began doing this content that I would be talking about pensions, but it's certainly worth a thought. I had a chat with a financial planner earlier today about the pensions that I want to introduce for myself and the team, and I wanted to share where my head is following. I got a call from a friend of mine in Bank of Ireland, Thomas Buttle. He looks after and supports startups. He's one of these guys now, to be fair, that goes immeasurably beyond his job brief and has been really supportive and beneficial to me. I actually so much so that I'm taking our company accounts from one provider and actually relocating them to the Bank of Ireland on his, really because of the kind of relationship I have with himself. Anyway, he gave me a call and he said, look, Jamie, as you know, as an employer, you're obliged to provide pension plans for your staff. I'd like to bring in our financial planner just really to meet with you and just to go through the various options that we can provide you with. I kind of bluffed a little bit on the phone call and said, look, that'd be great. I'd love to meet him. I'd be very interested to hear what you have on offer. He said, look, of course, there's no cost and we'd love to support you however we can. So anyway, I set up the meeting and I hung up the phone and I went, oh shit. It's kind of funny, when you build a business, you're so focused on building the business that you don't realize a lot of the legal obligations. Now, a bit questionable throwing this out on video, but the problem's solved, so you can't get me now. But if you're an employer in Ireland and you don't provide pension plans to your staff, you could be fined €10,000 per person. It's pretty serious and pretty scary. So it's something that I probably didn't do enough of, even though my dad's a solicitor, but actually sit down with a solicitor as you're building your business and say, look, what are the legal obligations? What do I have to be doing for the team, for the business? It's something that's overlooked a lot, and as you're progressing, when you're not thinking of it, somebody comes along or something comes along and sweeps the rug from under your feet and topples you. Business is all about unexpected issues arising, and yeah, as I said, I just think the idea of sitting down with a good solicitor beforehand and just getting a clear view of the different obligations and prioritizing them in terms of when you should bring them in and when you shouldn't is absolutely key. Anyway, I sat down with the financial planner earlier on today, a guy called Les Austin, and wow, this guy has, he's just, his life is in financial planning. It was brilliant to go through all the different various pension options and pension options for providing for staff and for looking after yourself as a director in the business. It's actually so interesting how we're so conscious of the now with regards to finances, and so few of us look at, you know, what happens when you're 55 or 65. And so it's something, if anybody's watching here, I'd really urge you, if you're building a business, get onto a pension provider. If you're in Ireland, make sure you do, because otherwise you're liable to be fined. But if you're working at the moment, it's certainly something you should really look at. Just because if you plan your pensions out right, there's a huge opportunity in terms of just the compounding growth you can see from it, and also the tax benefits of pushing into it. But if you aren't looking at a pension per se as an investment fund, you have to think ahead for yourselves in terms of what happens when you do retire. It's kind of, it's just, I had this thing, my sister's wedding was a couple of months ago, and literally about a year before that, when she got engaged, it felt like ages away. But retrospectively, it all moved so fast. And as crazy it is, I'm 30, to be thinking age 65, how fast all that moves. Anybody I talk to at that age, and that's something I do a lot of, and again, I strongly urge anybody in business, talk to those that have gone before you, talk to those with experience, and ask them what would they say to their younger self in your shoes for where you are right now. You'll learn so much. But for any of them that I do, the common trend that they say is, I just can't believe it's all moved so fast. And so anyway, just regardless of the financial, the pension offering, it's really, really important, I think, that people think in the long term. I talk in other videos about, you know, gaining a bit of a strategic edge from thinking long term as against short term, because I think it's so many people in my space think short term. But in the long term, just making that plan for the future. Anyway, my mind kind of boggled. For something really, really important, it's made quite complicated. And this guy Les made it pretty simple and accessible, but I'm conscious if I'm going to be subscribing to it and subscribing for 25, 35 years, I need to take real time and I need to cross-compare to make sure I've got the option that works for me and works best. But I feel almost a little bit like you should do this, not doing that, but I do think it's worth opening your eyes to various options and putting together some sort of plan that you can make little investments to over the kind of coming weeks. So that you can make little investments to over the coming months and years, and that will compound in the background and ensure your safety as you progress in life. Anyway, a little bit of do this, but it is really worth a look. And as I said, if you're an aspiring entrepreneur building up a business in the background, get on it for your staff, because the last thing you would like is to be fined, but also as well, you want to make sure you're looking after the team that you're building up.